Hi, my name is Oscar and I'm a scientist. In this channel, we talk about green card categories in which you can self petition, and that means simply that you don't need to have a job offer, a company is sponsoring you, and you don't even have to have a lawyer if you don't want to. So, today we are going to review the Visa Bulletin for the upcoming month of September. We are in August right now. The new Visa Bulletin for the next month has just come out. It's the last Visa Bulletin for the fiscal year. Remember that the fiscal year for USCIS and the State Department finishes on September. So the next one we will review next month will be the first Visa Bulletin of the fiscal year 2024. Okay, so bear with me. There's a few news that this September Visa Bulletin brings, so we are going to see all about it in a second. As usual, I want you to know how to get here in case you want to come back at your own pace and be the owner of your own information. You don't have to go through me if you don't want to. So what you do is you Google Visa Bulletin very simply on Google, and then typically the first result will be the official site for the Visa Bulletin. It will look like this, what you're seeing in the screen right now. And what you always get is the current Visa Bulletin for the month you are in. Right now we are in August 2023. And then on the right side, maybe the first or second week of the month, or towards the middle, even third week of the month, you'll get the upcoming Visa Bulletin. The Visa Bulletin, remember what it means. A Visa Bulletin basically tells you what is the line of people waiting for one of these green card categories. It can be EB1, EB2, and so on. So by looking at those dates, we know how long we can expect we are going to have to wait until our priority date is current. And that means that we can file our adjustment of status or go ahead and proceed to consular processing if we are filing our green card petition from abroad. Okay? So that's the significance of this, and that's why everyone is always really excited about the Visa Bulletin and really hopeful that the days will move forward so less people are in front of you in the line of people. It's a hypothetical, it's not a real line, of course, of people. It's a metaphorical line. All right, so what I did is I opened the August Visa Bulletin in one tab and then the September Visa Bulletin in the other tab so we can quickly compare what's going on. There are two tables. Table A is the final action date. That's the most important table. It's used for adjustment of status most of the time unless they say otherwise. And then we have a table B that is used for consular processing for the first step of the consular processing. But even if you are going through consular processing, you still need to pay attention to table A because until your date is not current based on table A, you will not get your green card until then. You may be able to do some of the steps in the process, but you will not be called for an interview and you will not be granted the green card until your priority date is current in this table A. That's why most of the times I focus more on table A because it's more important, okay? So let's pay attention and let's recap on what happened in the previous month. In the previous month, we were seeing that for the first employment-based green card category, and that's EB1, and that includes EB1A, one of those green card categories in which you can self-petition, we were seeing that for most countries, the priority date was August 2023, okay? This had just changed from current, which is the best situation, to August 1st, and that means that there is a slight retrogression. That means that people cannot file adjustment of status together with the I-140 step. So not terrible news, but it's not also it's not a good indication. China and India were a little bit more backlogged. Well, India is way more backlogged. China had a date of February 2022, which is not terrible, but India had just turned to January 2012, and I made a video about this. I'm not going through this again in this video. You can go and watch it. In a very short summary, what this means is that India has run out of visa numbers, So basically, they have stopped giving EB1s to India until the next fiscal year. So we can expect that in October, we will see this date go back to normal, okay? So let's see if we go now to September, let's see what happens with EB1. So pay attention to the change. So I just moved to September, and actually, if you notice, there's absolutely no change for EB1, okay? So still for most countries, the date is August 23. The China is still February 2022. India is still in this weird state of, I could call it hyper retrogression. It went back to 2012, and again, go back to my other video to understand exactly why, but expect that this is the last month that you see this very negative date, and then in October it will go back to a more normal date, okay? So EB1, no changes. That's the summary here for EB1. EB1, no changes. We are having no changes for most countries. We're not having changes for China. We're not having changes for India. India continues to be, I would say, oversubscribed. It means that they are not giving visa numbers to Indian nationals for EB1 until the next fiscal year, right? So let's go now in this table A to the second employment-based green card category, and that is EB2. And that includes EB2 NIW, or National Interest Waiver. I know most of you that are watching this video are interested in National Interest Waiver. So let's see what happens, because here we do have some changes. So the priority date for what we had for NIW, for EB2 in general, for most countries was April 2022 in the Visa Bulletin of August. And now what we see is, if we go to September, we see July 2022. And that is actually great news. This is great news because basically the dates have advanced 3 months, okay? April to July. Yes, that's right, April to July. So that means that the line has gotten a little bit shorter, and we continue the path that we have been seeing very recently with EB2, which is good, especially after a few months of retrogression or pause. This is excellent news. So let's see the other countries, particularly China and India. We had for China July 2019, it's still July 2019, and for India we had January 2011, and it's still January 2011. So no change for China and India. Mexico and Philippines are tied to the first column, so also they advance 3 months. So this is absolutely good. I always like, and I've said that in many videos, I really like to give good news and not talk about retrogression. So today we can say that for EB2, including EB2 NIW, we are seeing dates moving forward for 3 months. And that is going to mean a lot to a lot of you that are waiting in this line of people with an I-140 already approved, waiting for months, trying to get to the second step of the process, adjustment of status or consular processing. Now many of you will be able to do that. And the ones that can't do that yet, at least you are seeing that things are moving in the right direction. And I'm sure you are as excited as I am, okay? All right, so I talked about these 2 tables that we have. Table A we already reviewed, and Table B is now showing on the screen, but this is going to be very short. For Table B, there's no changes for first or second green card categories. And remember, I focus on these 2 green card categories because in the first one we have EB1A, in the second one we have EB2 NIW, and those are the ones in which you can self-petition, so that's why I care most about those. But if you go from one to the other, I'm going through tabs and there's no difference whatsoever, so no changes there. All right, and before we finish, I also wanted to say that you should also check the notes at the end of the Visa Bulletin, and that's something that sometimes we miss. We want to go so quickly between tables and seeing the dates and seeing how things move forward or backwards. But these footnotes that we have at the end of the Visa Bulletin are very important. We had footnotes about everything about the diversity visa, about the family green cards, and of course about the employment-based green card categories. So if you come here to the note E that shows up on the September Visa Bulletin, there's a warning from USCIS and the State Department saying, hey, we are approaching the limits that have been assigned to us for the number of green cards we can give in the fiscal year of 2023. Remember, September is the last month of the year. So if at any time an annual limit was reached, it would be necessary to immediately make the preference category unavailable, and no further requests for numbers would be honored. EB1 for India, for example, has to be really close to that, and there may be others in the table that are also close to that situation. I don't think that's going to happen for most EB1 and EB2. We'll see, but the good news is that we are very, very close to the end of the fiscal year, and then October will start with fresh visa numbers. Remember that for employment basis, there's a cap of 140,000 green cards that Congress allows these agencies to provide to you. And by the way, if you want to watch an interesting video about a proposal that has been made to USCIS regarding the Visa Bulletin and making everyone current in the October Visa Bulletin, I'll leave a link here so you can watch it at your own pace. But basically, I think I'm moderately happy with what has happened in this September Visa Bulletin. I didn't expect major changes because it's the end of the fiscal year, so I didn't expect anything to move much. So I'm surprised that we are seeing that 3-month movement in the EB2 category. I'm happy again for all of you. If you are interested about applying to one of these 2 green card categories in which you can self-petition from the US or from abroad, go take a look at these 2 websites, eb1greencard.info on the left side, or eb2niw.info, or in Spanish, eb2niw español.info. I have a lot of information that can be valuable to you, particularly the online courses that are basically step-by-step guides using video lectures in English and Spanish in the case of EB2 NIW, in English only for EB1 for now. And you get my own petition as a reference. You get an explanation on what are the requirements, how to fulfill the requirements, how to put together your cover letter, your recommendation letters, professional plans, and all that. So take a look at it, support the channel by doing so as well. And I hope that you are, again, as happy as I am about this news. I hope we'll continue to see movements in October. And good luck to you in your green card journey. Please subscribe to this channel, activate the bell, do all those things that the algorithm would like, so we can keep growing and keep supporting each other in these green card journeys, okay? See you in the next video.